Hello, everybody. My name is Jenny Tao, and today I'm presenting a media news update on the Chinese media app, WeChat, specifically investigating the impacts of surveillance and censorship on this media platform based on recent news. Now, I'm sure some of you may not be familiar with this app, so allow me to briefly introduce it to you. WeChat is an app based in China that has become a major part of daily life in the country since its release in 2011. To its now over 1.1 billion users, it's their Uber, their dating app, their social media, a way to keep in touch with international friends and family, their social media, and much, much more. To the Chinese diaspora of immigrants around the globe, it's even expanded its reach to international levels. However, despite globalization, censorship and surveillance by the Chinese government has greatly restricted the flow of certain information and media on the platform. As was discussed in Module 3, this sort of information flow just doesn't exist there. For instance, it's recently fixed a so-called bug and made WeChat content unsearchable on engines such as Bing and Google as a part of the Great Firewall that acts as a barrier between China and outside media. Still, WeChat as a company has its eyes on expansion. Domestically, it has recently collaborated with major banks such as the Bank of Ningbo to improve credit card use for users. According to Top 2022, already nearly 8 in 10 mobile phone users make both proximity and peer-to-peer mobile payments in China. Much like AT&T, as discussed in Module 4, WeChat constantly adapts and updates its functions to remain relevant in an ever-progressing society. Another instance of this is the creation of WeChat channels, which was created to compete with the relatively newer success of the social media app TikTok to remain relevant, even if it fails to be quite as successful as TikTok itself. And this shows WeChat's attempts to reach an international audience. Now, many have expressed concerns on the privacy of user data on WeChat. Chinese law and government influence have made it a tool for propaganda and censorship of any content critical of China on the platform, and has made it a way to control the media and the people's perception of things in China. For instance, U.S. scholar Teng Biao brings up the Chinese cybersecurity law, which requires WeChat to cooperate with the CCP by giving over any data it needs, including information of international users, making it a security concern for other nations. As part of the blocks to free trade of even media, as discussed in Module 3. Now for an overview. WeChat is ultimately a company, and it wants to be the sort of transnational media conglomerate discussed in Module 3, but government censorship and interference has largely hindered it, as seen in the recent developments earlier discussed. Its content is also highly localized to the humor and preferences of the Chinese user base, similar to the discussion in Module 3 against the idea of American media imperialism. Now, privacy concerns also mean that WeChat may potentially get shut out of foreign markets for fears of that. Now, this all accumulates in recent controversy. Ma Huateng, co-founder of WeChat, has recently gone silent, a stark contrast to his previously active public presence. Similarly, other major Chinese tech leaders have resigned and gone silent as well, such as CEOs of TikTok, in what appears to be a silencing of even the most powerful media voices in China. In April 2022, Shanghai was forced into a sudden total lockdown, leaving many people with no food and shelter. Health and emergency resources failed, and in response, a citizen on WeChat created a moving and now infamous video known as The Voices of April, showcasing the horrifying conditions of Shanghai. People of WeChat attempted to keep this piece of media circulating against the censors on the app for several hours before it finally was completely erased from WeChat. I'll now let a piece of this video to speak for itself as it lives on in international platforms such as YouTube.
告诉你一个事实，就是病房很紧张，隔离点没有房间，120没有车，这个就是事实。现在嘛，让我通知人家阳性，健康云上嘛是个阴性，我们都让人家打1235投诉健康云，搞什么搞嘛？
现在连上海发布微博上面都关闭评论了。
今天早晨4点多钟就来了，到现在都几点了？这个菜是不是要全部烂掉？水也没得喝。上海有小卖铺有没有？吃没得吃。我是来支援的，无偿的。我现在连温饱都解决。
知不知道？我们有浦东的居民、浦东的朋友们，他们收到大礼包，上面印的是宝山区政府。你让我们作为宝山区大场镇的居民是作何感想？
我也需
需要上面有好的政策来给我，我可以对居民有交代。现实是没有，知道吗？没有，那个工作让我身心疲累。
为了谁呀？我自己也有家呀，你们有家带不住，我是有家不能回呀。
要把他打死！哎呦天哪！我们都是一栋人。
WeChat shows the importance of outside ideas and the benefits of globalization, as well as the consequences of censorship of media. Something I think will be important to continue studying in the future. And that ends the slide presentation. Here are my sources, and thanks to SlideGo for this presentation template. And finally, thank you for your time.